about 15 years ago, Venerable Tarpa was invited and attended a meeting of Buddhist practitioners who were volunteering in the prison system. And after COVID shook everything up, those organizers got together and they were wondering if people wanted to do another meeting, join together, and there was interest, and that did happen last weekend, and people keep asking me questions. So what happened in Seattle? What'd you guys do? So I thought I would just answer all those questions at once. So my personal motivation for going to Seattle and joining this meeting was to share with other people, to learn what other Buddhist practitioners were doing when they volunteered in the prison system, to kind of learn different strategies, different successes, growth areas, and kind of sharing and joining this community and finding out, I don't know, how can we improve our program? What can we do that would benefit these men in prisons? And so the environment set the tone for the entire weekend. It was in a co-housing unit in Seattle, and everyone has their own house, and there's like a community house in the middle. And so in this community house, there's a kitchen, there's a big dining room like we have here, and there's like a play area for kids. So it's very like everyone's kind of hanging out. There's like kids around, and adults are talking to kids, and kids feel really comfortable around the adults. So it's like this very like community feeling. And I think that set the tone for the whole meeting. We all felt like very comfortable sitting on these nice couches and just sort of hanging out like we were old friends. We share this bond of being really committed and devoted to these men who were in prison. And so even though we were very different backgrounds, we all shared in this one commonality that I think like was a glue that bonded us together. So immediately we felt this like affinity towards each other. And right off from the start, I felt like it was meeting old friends again. So that was really nice. So it's kind of like we had a meeting in the media room downstairs, and Venerable walked in and immediately said, okay, we're going to change venues now. And we came up here where there were windows, and the tone and the environment, it changes how meetings go, how we interact with each other. So I think that was, whether consciously or subconsciously, it was a really genius choice of a venue for us to meet, as opposed to like impersonal, like concrete hotel something, it could have been really different, but it was really, personal and very touching and warm, like family meeting together. So the people attending this meeting, there were about 15 people. There was a mix of lay people and monastics, mostly Zen practitioners, and but different kinds of Zen practitioners like Japanese and Vietnamese and some Chinese. And I found out what this square is. I always thought like they put their hands in it. It was like a place to rest your hands when you're meditating or doing walking meditation. But actually that's not true at all. It has a really interesting history. I was told that when in China, when the monastics were persecuted, they had this wrapped around their neck. It was, this patchwork, and it represented their robes, and they could hide it under their clothes so they could still work in the fields and also, have their robes technically on them. So that speaks to me about their devotion to their monastic life and their commitment to still being ordained even with this persecution and not being able to practice in the way that they would choose. So we started off with a very rough agenda. We knew that we needed bathroom breaks and we'd have some lunch eventually, but it was very organic. We just kind of like created it as we went, which was really nice. It sort of it spoke to the needs of the people who were attending in that moment. And, we could go off on this tangent if that was really interesting for people, and then bring it back and then go off on this other tangent. And so we talked about things that were working really well for us, and I learned a lot from other people. And then there were some challenges that we all had. A lot of the meeting was talking about going into the prison system. So I think our prison program at the Abbey is unique in that we do go into the prisons, and that's one part of what we do, but it's just a small slice. We also send correspondence into these men, mostly men, there's also some women, We offer encouragement to them with these letters, and they can ask questions and we can help them with their practice. And also we send books and magazines. There was a retreat from afar that is 12 weeks that we send out to them. And there's also the Dharma Dispatch quarterly newsletter that goes out to them. And so this is like a lifeline for a lot of them. It might be the only Dharma that they're getting in the prisons, and so this can be really healing for them. You know, they are going to get out of prison eventually, most of them, and so do we want people to get out who have been exposed to the Dharma and are really working on themselves and trying to heal and enter society in a balanced way? Or if they don't get the Dharma, you know, who knows what's going to happen? They'll be like in a dry desert, you know, without the Dharma, you don't have anything to really nourish you. So I really rejoice at the hard work of these people who are really devoted to their practice and connecting with the Abbey. So also we talked about, you know, working with the officers in the prison system. So if it's not like us against them, which is sometimes the mentality, but if these officers are miserable and not getting along with the prisoners, then that makes everyone's life miserable. Their whole environment is really not very good at all. So a lot of the inmates are working on trying to work with the officers and be friendly with them so they have a good relationship and so things can go smoothly while they are stuck there. And I really rejoiced at the dedication of the different kinds of volunteers, and you know, a lot of them just go in week after week, month after month. We made a line showing, you know, we got physically in line to show the newbies like me, and then the elders who have been going to prisons for years and years, and they had so much wisdom to impart. So it was really helpful just to learn, you know, all the different changes in the prison system and things we could learn and adapt for ourselves. So one of the big takeaways was about community, and this, I think, we went over again and again and again, that we're not isolated individuals and groups working with these inmates, but I felt like there was this group of people working in the background. You can't necessarily see it, but right now there's people out there doing really hard work, and they're very committed to helping these people, and I really rejoice in all their hard work year after year after year. And so one of the things we touched on was it's like it's not us helping them, but since we're interconnected, their happiness and our happiness are interconnected. I cannot be happy, we cannot be happy as long as there's people who are miserable and suffering in these prisons. They've been locked away, they've been forgotten and discarded by our society. So even if we don't feel qualified, a lot of us didn't feel qualified, like we need a certificate or something, but we can go in and we can just listen and be with these people and show them that we care. There's people that love them, and they might not have family or anybody who really cares about them. So this can be really powerful, just to listen and sit with an open heart. I find that in its simplicity is really, really powerful. Just like I've said before, even at the Abbey, we don't have to do anything really huge or special or amazing, but it's our practice day by day by day that makes a difference. And people know that we are here and we're practicing and cultivating good qualities, and it inspires people and it makes people want to also embody these qualities, and it kind of spreads like a ripple effect. So I'm really rejoicing from this virtuous weekend and all the hard work of the people who organized it. And I'm hoping that now we're out of retreat, we're going back in the prisons, we're doing all this good work. And I'm hoping that this will enliven, reinvigorate everybody and spread like a ripple effect so that we can all make steps closer and closer to full enlightenment.